Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network. Tonight, we're doing something we haven't done in a long time. And we picked the two best looking people of the cast to do it with. Hi, Jason. We're doing something we haven't done in a long time. We are live on video. And you'll have to forget me because Hi, Jason. Want to give a shout out to everybody over at Firearms Radio Network that makes this possible. Also, want to give a shout out to Patriot Patch Company, who is being our sponsor.
Mike, something bad's happening.
Everybody over at Firearms Radio Network that makes this possible. Also, want to give a shout out to Patriot Patch Company. Did you mute the video?
Mike, something bad's happening.
Everybody over at Firearms Radio Network that makes this possible. Also, want to give a shout out to Jason.
Yeah, we got a weird loop going.
Yeah, because the video is going to be about 10 seconds slower than the actual chat or than the actual. So what you need to do is go over to the.
Yeah, we got a weird loop going.
Chat is mute it. The video is going to be about 10 seconds slower than the actual chat or than the actual. So what you need to do is go over to the.
Yeah, we got a weird loop going.
Chat is mute it. It's going to be about 10 seconds slower than
Mute
the
it.
actual chat or than the actual. Can you see my screen now that I'm sharing? Right here. Click that mute.
Mute. Show me again. I didn't see it.
Can you see on the chat screen where it's got the live chat? If you right here go to the video, you'll see the controls.
Okay. Show me again. I didn't see it.
Can you see on the chat screen where it's got the live chat? If you right here go to the video, you'll see the controls.
Okay. Show me again. I didn't see it.
Chat screen where it's got the live chat. Got it?
Okay.
Got it?
I can't get rid of your screen to get back to mine, Mike.
Okay, so
I can't get rid of your screen to get back to mine, Mike.
okay, so do you have the options for all these down at the bottom?
I can't get rid of your screen to get back to mine, Mike.
Do you have the options for all these down at the bottom?
Yeah, I do.
Do you have the options for all these down at the bottom? Okay, so down at the bottom of the screen, hover over the Chrome icon, and you'll see all the windows pop up. See how those windows pop up and go away? Then you just click on the window you want. And open it. Oh, Jason, I muted you so you'd stop the feedback. All right. Did you get it?
I muted the window, but I think I muted
what you are listening to me on.
No.
No, we're good now?
I muted.
good.
I muted you so we quit having that feedback.
Okay.
So you're funny, Mark. Real funny, Mark. So Russ, is this more exciting than polishing brass?
I forgot. We can be harassed while we're recording now.
Yes, we can. So, let me stop that. Okay. All right. So we got that figured out. Sorry about all that feedback and stuff. Thankfully, that won't make it to editing. So, yeah, I wanted to say thanks to Jake and everybody over at the Patriot Patch Company for supplying the bandwidth for this program. And Jake and Ryan do a bang-up job. Always have good patches. Gotta check out the Patch of the Month Club. If you're not a member, you gotta really check them out. There's some really good ones in there. Lots of good fun ones. So patriotpatch.co. So, but Jason, what you been up to?
I started prepping some 308 brass earlier this week, getting it all cleaned up. This is what Terry annealed for me.
Okay.
And I started turning the necks, and I broke my Lyman case neck turner. And what actually happened was the hex head screw, the Allen screw for the adjustment, it broke inside the hole, and it's so tiny. I wasn't sure how I was going to get it out. No fun. But I talked to Terry about it, and he used to be a machinist, so he said maybe left-handed drill bits and a vise. But I called Lyman, and the lady that I talked to was like curt and unhelpful. So I just said the heck with it, and I ordered myself the RCBS that goes on the trimmer.
Nice.
And I just got it today, and it has a reamer pilot, so it actually cleans the inside of the neck while you're trimming the outside. And this one, you can set it with a feeler gauge. And so I set it to 15 thousandths, and it cut 15 thousandths. I was pretty impressed.
That's a nice thing.
Yeah. I meant to go shooting this morning, and I actually got up and got dressed to go shooting, and then I just decided I was tired, and so I said the heck with it. I'll stay home today, and I did not go shooting. Kind of disappointed in myself, but you need your rest too.
Yep. Yeah, the one thing I decided this morning, it was too hot, so it was 92 degrees here today. So, yeah. So instead, I did a little farting around and then played with those a little bit. So, everybody's got to watch what tries to refocus. There we go. So Russ's latest comment is technical difficulties are just a fig Newton of your imagination. And Mark 1070 says, "Hey, I still love the show." And we thank you for loving the show. And did you say fig Newtons? What? Where? I want some. Can I have
love
some?
fig Newtons? You bet.
Great. Now he's talking to fat kids. Dang it. So, just a short show tonight. Couple quick questions. So, for those of you who are watching this live and kind of wondering or saw the posts and you're wondering, 176, what happened to the rest of them? I'm a couple behind because I've got pushed back so back on editing that one, and then the next one recorded. I decided since we didn't we didn't have the ability to get together all at one time. So I recorded one episode with Jason. I recorded a setting with Jason and with Jim and with Jeremy, and then I've got to put them all together, and I didn't have time to do that this week like I was planning on because I went up working some extra hours. So yay for the gun budget, bad for the editing time. So after we're done with this, I'll finish that up and get it posted. So, and then there's still 2 more to post before this one actually posts as an audio podcast. So that's why it's 176. So those of you who are tuning in now will get the behind the scenes of how ugly this stuff actually is before we clean it all up with editing. So the good news about doing it this way is the audio should be a heck of a lot better once we get back to doing it this way. So, and it's easier to edit because I can just rip the audio off the YouTube file. So that'll save me some time. Anyway, good. So first question is from Joel. Both these questions are from the podcast, the Reloading Podcast group, which, for those of you who may not know about it, but do know about the podcast group is a Facebook group, which is different than the podcast page. The group is where we can control the settings a little more. We can control who sees what and that type of thing. So if your friends and family don't know that you participate in this evil, scary hobby of reloading, and you want to keep it from them, but you want to talk about it, join the Reloading Podcast group. You can post there, and they can't see what you posted. So that's kind of why Jim created it. It's kind of the same rules and program as the Reloading Room is, so as far as that goes. But the advantage of having all of us hanging out in there most of the time too. So, if you ask questions, and Jeremy's usually probably the quickest one to answer. So, but first question is from Joel. And he says, quick question for you guys. I have a Hornady lock and load powder thrower and am currently developing a load for 308 using Varget. Not bad powder. I can think of some better ones, but I'm noticing the thrower is crushing the powder. The thrower measures pretty consistently, and I end up trickling the rest in. Do I need to be worried, or am I okay as long as I get the right load? Do you guys know of any fix in the thrower? I did lubricate the internals with graphite lube. Thanks, Joel. With any of those style throwers, there really isn't, Jason, there really isn't anything I know of that you can keep them from cutting powder. Do you?
Nope. They're going to cut it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the drawback to any of them, whether they're on the, they're like the Hornady one that's on the press or the bench mount ones, any of the other ones, pretty much. There are any of those that use that cylinder style rotating assembly, they're going to chop powder. The only way to get away from that is either go back to hand dishing or step up to one of the electric dispensers. That's going to be pretty much your only fix for that. Now, if it's just chopping one kernel, it's probably not going to be a problem. If you start chopping, 20 and 30, then you might have some issues. Because when you cut it, part of the burn rate consideration is how long that kernel is and what the coating is on it. When you cut it, you now expose more of the powder to burn without that coating. So, I mean, if you cut enough of it, it definitely could cause a little bit of spike. I don't know if you could really, if you took the entire, say, I don't know what Varget is. I can tell you quick. So a 308 is a 46 grain charge. So if you took the entire charge and you cut it up, then I could see that happening. But just a couple kernels isn't going to do it. I don't know if this will focus or not, but we'll give it a shot. So as you can see in the bottom there, I'll move it in closer, it gets it to not focus on me. Maybe. Hold on. Trick. There we go. So as you can see, those are little sticks And what he's talking about is chopping those in half with the powder thrower when it comes down. What it does is powder comes down through here. This is the one off my lock and load AP, but it's a similar setup. So powder comes down in here, and then it rotates. It rotates into the cylinder. Well, there's a hole in the cylinder that it falls into, and then it falls down. So what happens is when this rotates, it cuts those kernels, shortening them up. And that's what he's talking about by chopping. Now, obviously, some of you are listening to the audio and you're going, wait, what? If you head over to our YouTube page, the video for this will be up there. That's kind of one of the nice things about having video back is we can do stuff like this. Between most of us, we record in our actual reloading areas. And so we can reach over and grab a thing of powder and show you what the kernel looks like, or we can grab a, different things and stuff like that. So that's kind of the nice thing about that. Oh, episode 177, we will give away the brain fart. This. Haha. Episode 177. This will go to one of our pledgers. So any of you who are listening live and want to get on that, you can go to reloading pod, or you can go to firearmsradio.tv/pledge
Cool.
reloading podcast. So, and then what was that, Jason?
I just said that's cool. Am I eligible?
No.
I knew you were going to say that.
Just like I'm not eligible. Although, never mind. So, yes, I drink a lot of water. So that's firearmsradio.tv. Oh, somebody got happy with the enter button there. So once again, that's firearmsradio.tv/pledge-reloading-podcast, since I kind of slaughtered it in the first place. Like I said, episode 177. So we'll actually draw for it on October 1st. October 8th, we will have a guest. October 15th, we will have a guest. So we're getting back into guests. I'm not telling who it is, but we'll have guests for both of those. So it'll be fun. So back to the question at hand. The other thing he had added in there is he did lubricate the internals with graphite lube. Now what that means is on any of your powder throwers, you can either do it easily and just either, if your powder's kind of a grayish, more than likely it's coated with graphite, so you could just run the powder through it. However, I like to make sure, so you go to a hardware store and actually get powdered graphite, and you pour it down in here. Ooh, wrong finger. Pour it down in here, and then you just cycle it like you normally would, run all the graphite through, and then you can actually recover that graphite and reuse it for another purpose. But what you're doing is you're coating the sides and everything and making it slippery so your powder doesn't hang up. Kind of counteracts the static cling factor as far as the metal goes, and it helps with that. Jason, any other tricks that helps the powder flow better?
Yeah. Being consistent. So while you're cycling your cylinder, if you are, say, tap the top with a certain amount of pressure And the same thing as you go back down, that helps a lot. Because you're causing settling as you're rattling that thing around, you're causing settling. So if you're very consistent with that, I have heard of people saying that they are within 1/10 of a grain doing extruded powders.
Russ in the chat says he also uses dryer sheets to help keep down the static cling. I forget about that. So you can use that on plastic and the metal, and it really helps get rid of the static cling. Just something about dryer sheets. They're a magical device. But yeah. All right. You know, and if anybody out there's got a a trick or a tip that they've used to kind of fix their thrower so it doesn't chop any of the extruded, or it chops less, shoot us an email at reloadingpodcast@gmail.com and let us know. Second question is from Jason T. And he had a question that actually I thought about the first time I went to do it. So, can you use Lemmy-Shine and Dawn in an ultrasonic cleaner, or will it bubble too much? And it's one of those that you think about, because when you agitate Dawn with your hand and you in the dishwater, it bubbles up. So you'd think that it would do the same thing with the ultrasonics, but I can tell you for a fact it does not. So I don't know if you tried that at all, Jason.
I have. Yeah, I got no issues with it. It doesn't bubble up. When you said Jason T, I had to go look to see if you got the right name or not.
Nope, it wasn't you. So, now what ratio do you use for your Lemmy-Shine?
I don't measure it, but my Frankfurt Arsenal, roughly a gallon of water. I'm not exactly positive, but I give, I don't know, teaspoon maybe. That might even be heavy, of Lemmy-Shine, and then a good healthy squirt of Dawn, just a nice healthy squirt in there. That's about as picky as I get with it.
Yeah, I've got mine's not quite so big. I've just got the little Hornady ultrasonic, so I think it's 1.5 quart is all it holds.
Yeah, the ultrasonic, I don't use that too much anymore since I went with the steel pin tumbler.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, range brass to see if it works a little better. So
a
little bit, but I'm just checking to see if we got any more questions.
Troy asks, where is Jim Fleming? He's a slacker, Troy. He probably got lost, forgot where he was, and just kind of wandered away. They'll find him. They'll get him back home. He'll be fine. He'll be on here later.
Yeah, I heard something about a silver alert in North Carolina.
Exactly. At risk.
He just wandered away from the home.
Of course, the problem with him is everybody else is at risk because he's an ornery, armed, old son of a gun.
No, this is true. So, I see there's a couple people posted about doing their first loads. in the group. So it's kind of a cool thing. One guy seems like the hot topic is 6.5 Creedmoor. Jason, you going to convert your AR-10 over to 6.5?
I'm thinking about it. Well, no, actually, to answer that honestly, no. Will I build a 6.5? Probably.
That is the correct answer, sir. The existing gun, always build a new one.
Exactly.
Good grief. Sorry, folks. Trying to do Facebook on my phone isn't as productive.
I did learn something this week about the Case Master. So,
yeah,
if you recall, both Trevor and I got the Case Master, and neither one of us liked the way it measured neck wall thickness. Didn't seem to be very accurate.
Yeah.
Terry Dillashaw turned me on to a YouTube channel called Vaughn Precision. And one of the episodes, that guy covers that issue. And basically, you just put a little finger pressure on top of the sleeve where your dial indicator is resting.
Yeah.
And that fixes that issue. And I've tried it and tried it and tried it, and it works. So I've subscribed to that guy's channel now. He's a pretty intelligent guy. He knows his stuff. He doesn't come off arrogant or anything. I thought he was kind of a hillbilly at first, but he really does know his stuff. He's just really laid back when he's talking to you.
That's a good thing.
So I got that figured out. And then Terry was also telling me about another video that he watched where the guy had two dial indicators on the Case Master, because you have to move your dial around to measure different things. And this guy just put a second one on it, so he didn't have to move his dial indicator around. So I got a dial indicator coming. I think it was $14, and then I'm going to call RCBS tomorrow and see if I can purchase another arm for this, and if not, then I'll get Terry to make me one or something out of aluminum. But that'll help.
Russ just said, Jason, you think he's laid back?
He's laid back.
So Daniel has a question. He says, hi guys, I'm new to reloading and I need to trim some of my brass. Which trimmer do you prefer and why? I guess ultimately the question is how much money you have to spend. I have used, by the way, sorry for the flailing, but my kid left the garage door open, which is my recording studio, so I'm swatting bugs. Some of that depends on how much money you have to spend. And you can go anywhere from the simple Lee trimmer, $10 for the trimmer setup, and then I think $8 for the little jigs that they have to cut off at the proper length, all the way up to, a couple $100 for some of the Sinclairs and L.E. Wilsons and stuff like that. My personal preference is but I think this is the one you were just having problems with, wasn't it, Jason? Or no, that was your neck reamer. Your neck trimmer. So this is my personal preference. It's the Lyman Universal. Right here. Things I like about it. Here's your pilot. Right there. Here's your trimmer. You've got your depth set here. rough tuning, fine tuning. And then my favorite part about it, sweet. Whoops. Yeah, don't tip it upside down because the pilot's. But my favorite part's right here. All you got to do is just slap the brass in and turn it, and it tightens it down, locks it, centers it. So I've tried a couple of the other ones where you have to use either shell holders or do the finagling and stuff, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. Oh man, it landed in the cheese curds. Of course, I have to have cheese curds. I'm from Wisconsin.
Dude, you got cheese curds? Wow.
I have garlic and dill cheese curds.
Wow.
They're not just regular cheese curds. Yummy.
Nice.
So yeah, absolutely love it. It's nice and easy. Show you how it works, but I don't have any clean brass to trim at the moment. And yes, you want clean, resized brass before you start trimming, because otherwise it screws it up.
Okay, so here's Ellie Wilson.
Yep.
I have the Lyman, just like Mike, the Lyman Universal, I think. Those are what, Mike, $120?
If you get the power set up, yeah.
I don't remember what I paid for this. I want to say it was about the same price for the Ellie Wilson, but you have to buy this part for every caliber you want to trim. And this is like a chamber. So you'll put your case in here, set it into place, lock it down, and then trim it. So you actually have to knock your case in and then knock it back out. Takes a couple extra seconds. It does get annoying when you're doing a bunch.
Oh, I would suspect so.
But it is very accurate. But I don't know. I was using that Lyman quite a bit. I also like the RCBS. I have one of those because that locks the case in pretty quick. So yeah, like Mike said, it depends on your budget. Mark 1070 says for higher volume trimming, the electric units are great, but can be around.
Yeah, you've got a great electric unit.
I got some feedback there again. Did I do something goofy?
No, I think my computer went potato. I was trying to look up the price on the Ellie Wilson, and Chrome decided to go potato. So,
gotcha. Yes. So yeah, the Dillon trimmer, extremely fast, but you got to own a Dillon. Yep. The world's finest trimmer, like Russ is saying. Now, I don't have that one, but I do have the Girard Triway, which is basically the same thing except for it chamfers and deburrs. And that thing was amazing. That was really fast too.
Yeah, world's finest trimmer. I did, I don't know, 500 308s in about an hour with a hand. So, if you've got a drill press, the world's finest trimmer is absolutely awesome because you can just roll it. You can hold the brass and you can just roll the press down on top of it. You can only go so far with it. That's the nice thing, is you can't over trim with it. So that's why it works perfect in a drill press. You can use it in a cordless drill too. It just takes a little more to get the technique down. So, but yeah, awesome to use. The drawback, like Jason said, is it does not chamfer and deburr, so you have to chamfer and deburr after. But if you have a brass prep station, then that makes life a little easier. Or you do what I did, which is you get the companion item to the World's Finest Trimmer, which is the I want to say Perfect prep tool. I don't remember off the top of my head. But setup, we're all in the same. Let me grab it. All right. Sorry about that, Dale. Dale from Little Crow Gunworks is the gentleman who made it. Trade. Anodized aluminum, and it uses your basic Lyman bits. And for deburr, pocket cleaner, and pocket reamer. So for your primer, all set in one. The nice thing is this stays still. Is you hold the case, this kind of rotates around. So instead of this part moving, it locks, and this whole move things around, so it's a little easier ergonomically. Come in different colors. World's Finest Trimmer. So all nice and cleaned up. The nice thing is I just clean it up with. So pretty easy to do. And I can never remember the name of that prep tool, so I'm going to look it up quick so I can give you the correct name. But it's Little Crow Gunworks out of Minnesota. And great products. Full disclosure, I paid for the prep tool. He did send me the World's Finest Trimmer. But I did pay for the prep tool, so.
Now another a cutter and prep system, case prep system, is Frankford Arsenal has one. I do not recall the price of it. It wasn't terrible, maybe 150, something like that. But it trims and does the case prep. It's not as fast as WFT or Girard, but it does work on the same principle. It does work. It was okay. It just wasn't as fast as what I wanted.
So yeah, all of it depends on how much you're doing too. I mean, if you're a deer hunter or an elk hunter, you know, something like that, and you're doing literally you're loading 20 rounds a year, I'm gonna have a hard time telling you to buy most of these trimmers. A simple Lee will get it done, and it'll keep costs down. Now, the nice thing about the World's Finest Trimmer, not the original, but the World's Finest Trimmer 2, the second version, if you have a custom seating depth that you use and a custom, you know, everything on there, and you have a certain way you want it trimmed, you can actually send him a trimmed case, and he will custom make essentially what it is. It's the chamber that the brass goes in. He will custom make it for you so that you can use that correctly. It's the Precision Prep Tool is the proper name for it. So.
And the Frankford Arsenal Platinum Series case prep and trim system is now $170. It's gone up a little bit since I bought one.
Yeah, but it's still a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
But like we said, this depends on how much brass you're doing. Now, if you're, if you're shooting 3-gun or something like that, you are probably, if you've got a Dillon, you're going to probably want to look into that trimmer because that thing's just amazing. Literally, you could literally have just a 650 set up to do all of the different things you need to do for brass prep. You could do the swaging and the trimming and all that right on one machine. So, although theoretically 552, so you just have to index it. But yeah, the Dillon trimmer is nice. It's heavy duty. It's built well. It's designed to trim lots and lots of brass. Now, the catch with any of these that we've talked about, they're designed for trimming brass. They're not designed for like making your own 243 out of 308 or, something like that, where you're literally, cutting off millimeters of case length, 300 blackout, that type of thing. That's not what these are designed to do. You'll burn them up pretty quick. Now,
I believe, Mike, the new Dillon trimmer is designed for that. The version 1, it was too lightweight, but now they have one specifically. I think they've upgraded across the board. I'm not positive, but I think they did. But it was designed because of people that are cutting 300 blackout.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they're cutting like a 1/4 inch off or 1/2 inch, whatever it was. It was a lot.
Yeah, I knew they did some adjustments to it, but I didn't know if they'd fix that part of it or not. So, speaking of Dillon, I don't know if everybody saw this or not, but Dillon's now changed the warranty on their vibratory tumblers. It used to be a 1 year, and it's now up to a 5 year. So, I don't think I know if that's retroactive or not, though. So Russ wants to know, okay, how about something a little different? Do you have any strange or off-the-wall pet loads? For instance, I load a 405 grain GC 454 Casull, 1100 feet per second out of a 6-inch barrel. Hits like a freight train. At the moment, I don't. However, I will be getting into 6.5 by 284 or 6.5 284. I got to get the gun first. I've got the dies. I'm collecting brass. Bolts aren't a problem. But that's kind of the one I'm getting into. Otherwise, I don't really have anything goofy. I'm just trying to push my lead cast out of my Ruger SR40 as fast as I can. I've gotten those up to 1150 with no leading in the barrel. So, but that's 180 grain too. How about you, Jason? You got anything screwy or squirrely?
The only thing I can think of is for my 500 Magnum, I got a 440 grain cast that, according to the book, it launches at 1,700 feet per second. I have not counted those, but I can tell you it takes off. It recoils like a freight train. That's for sure.
Yeah. Any of those big bores do. Well, so let's see here. So, gang, this was just kind of a shorter test to see how we were doing. Kind of playing around. Jason and I know that we've got the best setups and the best internet connection right now. Jeremy's usually doing it on a mobile. One of the things we're working on doing is saving up some of the money to get him something better for that. I might have a Chromebook lined up for him. I got to test it out and see if it'll work for it or not. So we're going to do that. Jim's situation's a lot better. He, I believe, found a house and stuff. So now he's just waiting for all of that. And then he'll have the house and he'll have cable internet. So he's actually, I don't know if he's going to know what to do with that much speed, Jason.
He might not.
And we're just waiting for everything to freeze and turn white up in Canada. So Trevor quits running around shooting things. So
Yeah, he likes collecting trophies and awards, doesn't he?
yes, he does. Can't say that I blame him. It's a fun thing to do.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot. I can show this now. So, some of you who aren't live watching and are listening to this audio will have heard me talk about it. But this is my new holster from Black Rhino Concealment. So, has the podcast logo on it. Really nice. It's an outside the waistband because I'm going to use it for hopefully getting in shooting some competitions next year. This isn't the only holster that I'm going to have from Black Rhino. Pretty quick, I'm going to be ordering up one of their inside the waistband. It's called the Heron. Yes, any of you who are We Like Shooting fans will recognize that name as the now president of the Firearms Radio Network, Sean Heron. They named it after him. It's a great little setup. It's got inside the waistband, appendix options, and best part, it's got a built-in mag holder to go with it. So we'll be getting that set up here. I got to place that order later this week, and then I'll show you guys that when I get it. That one is not going to have the podcast logo on it because what's the point? Nobody's ever going to see it. So, but I recommend checking out Black Rhino Concealment. One of the other big things I want to announce, and I don't have it in here. So, so there's a fine gentleman that's been listening to our podcast for quite some time now. And he has been sending us some steel to try out for him. And it's Buckeye Targets out in Idaho, and it's Travis Buck. If you see him, say hi. And we just wanted to say that he is now the preferred target supplier of the Reloading Podcast. They have great steel. They have great quality printed targets. They do all sorts of different targets. Check them out. It's buckeyetargets.com. And I'll put a link in the show notes. So check them out. It's amazing, amazing stuff they've got going on there. Steel's really good quality, takes a beating, powder coated, and just an amazing setup.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, nibbit. I hate that when you're trying to do something your phone says, no, I don't think so.
Get an Apple phone, Mike. That wouldn't happen.
Man, you're lucky this is live. Although, to be honest, one of the things I'm looking at getting to make my life easier in doing podcasts is I am actually going to look into getting either a Mac Mini or a Mac of some sort. But unfortunately, those things are pricey, so that's going to take a while.
Yeah.
Unless somebody's got an older one sitting around they want to donate to the cause, then let me know, and we'll pay shipping to get it here. Maybe reimburse you some cost too. So
this is my first Apple product. I got the phone, and then I got the tablet, and prior to that, I never knew anything about Apple.
Yeah, Apple's good. I like picking on them, but they're good. So they have their benefits and they have their detractions. I don't like iPhones because I like doing customization in my phone, and you can't do that with an iPhone. So
I'm not that techie. I just answer it and I text, and then at lunchtime I watch YouTube videos.
Oh, that's perfect. Come on. Okay, so as I was saying, sorry for the light people for the delay, but good point, Mark. Apple is the evil empire. Yeah, but Buckeye's got some really nice paper setups. They've got a big IDPA type setup. They've got some sight-in targets. Really nice quality paper. They're putting them on. They're not cheap. Good quality ink, so they're standing out. It really stands out even at 200 yards. So. And if you check out some of Jason's YouTube videos, you can see how well the steel does it. Long distances. So. You've shot some of that out. What, 600, 800?
That was 5 and 6.
Yeah. And
that wasn't on YouTube. I just did it on probably Facebook and maybe.
I thought I put that on the YouTube page. Maybe not.
If
it's not on the YouTube page. There.
Okay.
But so, all right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Those of you visiting the live podcast or the live episode don't get to hear all the closing stuff because I'll add that in post editing. But just wanted to say thanks to everybody. We greatly appreciate all the support. Like I said, episode 177, we're giving away that RCBS to anybody who's a pledger. So looking forward to doing that and getting that shipped out, and then start. We've got a couple other things that are going to be sent out in the next couple of weeks. So thanks for hanging with us. We've been going through this difficulty. It's one of those things in the world of audio, especially with how little I know. Sometimes if you change just the smallest little setting, it can go throw the whole thing into a ball of goobers, and that's what happened. So, last couple have recorded well. It's just a matter of getting to them. So, Russ has one last question for us. He says, have you guys played with low recoil rounds for centerfire rifles using Trail Boss? He's wondering about how to make subsonic rounds for old warhorses and shoulder killers. So, Jason, have you done any downloading with Trail Boss?
I have not.
Okay. I haven't either, so you're welcome, Rex. Why don't you all send us, if you guys are downloading, like, your 8 mils, your 8 mil Mausers, or, your different old bolt actions, like your 303 British, your 7.7 Arisakas, and your Carcanos, and, all the different things like that. If any of you are downloading those using Trail Boss, send us an email at reloadingpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know. I've got a couple that I would like to shoot some more, and it'd be kind of fun to have a lower recoil just to be able to plink with. So on that note, thanks everyone. Say goodbye, Jason.
Goodbye, Jason.